All right, you're
Does it
live.
have sound?
Yeah,
It's live or it's recording?
it's recording right now.
Okay, hi, this is Jeff Berlin. I just got back from, I would say, 3-4 weeks of the greatest musical tour that I ever had in my career. I'm really lucky. I played with everybody somewhere, somehow, some way down the line.
Right, Dennis Chambers.
This last trip was Dennis Chambers, Scott Henderson, and myself. And we engaged each other. We pushed each other to musical heights that are stunning. And what made it even more of a memorable event for me is the fact that the three of us got along like old school buddies.
That's great.
You know, we hung together, we would fly together. I mean, you would figure that if you're spending this much time in the company of the people you're working with, I mean, you need a moment by yourself. But I'd be laying, you know, in my room or something after a gig. Dennis would call up laughing. I go, "What's so funny?" He said, "Turn to channel 41. You know, Scott would call up and say, "Listen, let's get up and have breakfast." We were really good friends. We were compatible as human beings and musically outstanding. And this is one of Jon Hill's creations. I guess they call it the patchwork bass, which is an utterly original bit of construction that I'm bringing in for a little bit of tweaking. And the beauty of it is evident, but the thing, the aesthetic element is obviously attractive. It's an art piece, but the thing that most moves me is this neck that you built. This neck might be the greatest bass neck that I've ever used, and the other one on my yellow bass, on my blonde. That one, for me, is even a finer bit of construction than this one, which is probably, Robert Trujillo from Metallica was hanging out with me the other day in Clearwater. They played at, whatever they played. What did they play? No, they played in Tampa proper. Whatever that big place is up there, the Ice Palace, the hockey place.
Yeah, the Ice Palace, yeah.
That it? And during the day, he came over and we hung out and went down to the beach, had grouper sandwiches, and we're playing basses. And he played this bass. And like everybody who plays my Jeff Berlin Dean bass, he went, "What?" And he called up Elliot the other day. He wants to get one now.
Right.
So you might have to, tweak it for him.
Does he want the patchwork one, or does he just want a Berlin bass? Or
he wants a Berlin bass, but I would assume that the patchwork might be attractive. But I don't know if his aesthetic interest is in that. He's I would say a physically heavier player of a bass guitar than I might be. So I would say any decent Jeff Berlin would be okay. But with your particular setup specifics would be really nice.
He likes a lower action and that kind of stuff, or
I believe so. I don't think quite the way that I like it, but I would say he's fairly close. But he played this bass and he wouldn't put it down.
So, okay, let me ask you like a professional kind of question, like for
$10.
you. Yeah.
You did say professional.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll pay him.
No, me.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you've had a lot of basses over the years, and these Berlin basses, I mean, what makes them different, or what's specific? Like when you play another bass, whatever, from some other manufacturer, what is it about these basses that you really like? I mean, I know it's a neck. I know it's a pretty thin neck, and the action's low and stuff like that. But I know it's based off a jazz or something like that with the nut spacing stuff. I don't know. Tell me.
I'm not a jazz bass inspired bass player, but you were right about the feel of the neck. You were right about the low action of the neck. The other thing is that it's passive. It's a personal preference for me. I just cannot enjoy the sound of an active bass. There's something intrinsic about that awful cold as ice high end and that unwarm low end that just sets me off. I don't feel it, don't hear it. But on this bass, quite frankly, it's a tinker toy. It's a body, it's a pickup, it's a string, it's a neck. There's nothing innovative about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which suits me fine, because what you did and what the plan was is to just simply get a very a good designed neck that doesn't interfere with the playing element, to get pickups that sound really good. You could take any amplifier and boost the highs and you're going to get highs. You can boost the lows, you're going to get lows. there's this concept that you got to artificially boost highs and lows and even boost volume. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's an unnecessary principle. It's another principle that's popular in music today among bass players, but you don't need it. So I like the fact that this rings and sings. So quite frankly, it's a very simple principle. Don't get in my way, meaning when bass manufacturers design a bass, they often design a bass with their idea in mind for me, or for you.
Yeah, exactly.
We got this new concept, and you'll find, and we feel that this will be great. But what a lot of manufacturers haven't realized is that most guys that own basses, the biggest problem is not how to play the instrument, but how to play music on it.
Right.
So the big struggle is this thing here, the musical approach to any instrument whatsoever. So what you did and what is our mutual plan and vision for my basses is to do something that is simple, doesn't get in the way, the rest is up to the player. The player has to make the music. It's not up to Dean Guitars to make a bass where I'm going to sound great, because every bass on the planet Earth sounds okay. Who honestly builds a bass guitar or any instrument that doesn't sound good anymore? So what you specify when you buy an instrument is an instrument that makes sense to your sonic preferences and that feels good naturally into your hand. This does, and my blonde one, which is my favorite bass that I've ever played in my whole career.
And who built that one?
You did. Just in case you forgot. I know, you're busy. So
I'm Jon Hill, by the way.
H-I-L-L-L. Jon Hill.
Oh, you're far too kind.
No, it's look when you have a skill in this manner, it's beneficial to tout that.
Yeah. Well, and you as well. I mean, it's great, to build for people that know the difference, between what your level of playing is, and to be able to build in that league is just an honor in itself, So I appreciate it.
My honor.
All right, that's all I got, man. Good job.
Ciao.